Wow, I think that was a really insightful overview and quite promising information there as well, so thank you. I'm actually amazed at how much information you managed to pack into that short amount of time, so yeah, thank you, Scott. So up next, we have a one-to-one conversation between Ghaith CEO of Flydubai, and Samir Hashmi, Middle East business correspondent for BBC News, to discuss how to re-energize air connectivity to support tourism growth in the Middle East. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Well, a very good afternoon. Thank you for coming, and what promises to be a very interesting, engaging session with the man who is going to tell us that how has he turned around fortunes of an airline when most of the airlines have been struggling over the last 2 years, especially since COVID. So I'm sure he's going to share insights. Mr. Ghaith, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Flydubai. Thank you, sir, so much for joining us. Apart from insights, I'm going to look for some secrets as well, which you can share of what you have done right over the session over the next 15 minutes or so.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to come here. First of all, I would like to welcome everybody to our show in Dubai. We are so very proud to have you all here with us. It's the place that makes things happen, and it's the place that Flydubai always count on making the difference in our success.
So let's get started. 2020 start, COVID happens, the airline industry shuts down. A very difficult period for the industry globally for about a year. Then last year we see airlines resuming some of their flights. So did Flydubai. But then if we look at what you've been able to do over the last 1 year, both in terms of the number of flights you're flying, in terms of the network and the routes you've added, and also your profits. I mean, the earnings which came out in March showed that you recorded a impressive profit of over $200 million, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So give us a sense that what happened, what did you do in those year and a half when things were not going, because of which you're able to see this kind of turnaround?
Well, first of all, the most important thing is where we are, Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. I think the way the United Arab Emirates has managed the pandemic has been the best that anybody could wish for. And Dubai being open was also a big help for us, because Dubai actually was open. So when the crisis happened, of course, we, like everybody else, we focus on reducing our costs, deferring our payment, and we wanted to make sure that we will be ready to bounce back as quickly as possible. So we focused on trying to find out what is the business that is there, cargo, repatriation. So we did that, and that's how we found the good balance to make sure that we are operating flights that are making money. So that was like 2020. As things progressed and then Dubai started opening up, we added routes that were required. We did such a good job that by November 2020, after deferring payments and reducing our costs, we were actually cash positive. And this has been an amazing achievement, because the team worked very well to leverage our position.
So what did you do? If I come in there, you say that you became cash positive. What is the key to become cash positive there?
Dubai. Because okay, we reduce our costs, we defer payment, but because there were actually demand to bring people to Dubai. At that time, the summer, it was our first summer, so we started selling the summer. And if you remember, that winter into 2020, by December, there were a lot of people that visited Dubai, to the extent that a lot of people thought, here everything is open. So that time Dubai was open, and we were operating a big chunk of our schedule. So that was 2020, and we were recovering extremely well. Come 2021, of course, we knew, or we felt that things will even get better. And as far as we are concerned, we started getting our MAX back. 14 aircraft started from April, and we started getting them back into service. And that year, we added 11 new aircraft to our fleet. So things started going up. And again, the whole thing had to do with the confidence people had to visit Dubai, and we had the ability, flexibility to plan. And one of the things that make a big difference for us in Dubai, we are very thankful for our staff who have agreed, almost all of them, 97% of them agreed that to take a deferment and took an unpaid leave. So to bring them back, it was easy.
So you didn't have to lay off people. You didn't have to lay off your staff.
Very few,
Right.
because that's their choice. But most of them took the unpaid leave, and we really commend them for sticking around with us, because without them, we would not have been achieving the result that we have achieved. So we brought the people back, we brought the MAX back, and we added 11 aircraft, and that's how we've been able to manage the wave of demand that Dubai commanded for this period. And this is why we are successful.
Now, where do you see demand right now? Of course, a lot of people are traveling this year. What's your outlook in terms of demand, and what is Flydubai planning to do this year?
Demand is huge. There is such a pent-up demand for travel. The biggest problem was the restriction that rightly so imposed by each government for the people traveling, for the requirement opening countries. All of that is now gone. And so every country will be open. Hence why we believe this summer will be probably the best ever. And that's why, we have planned to take 22 new aircraft. Yes, we are retiring 8 aircraft this year, but 22 new aircraft, of which 4 we've already received. So we believe that demand across the board, everywhere, will be very strong.
And you're going to be adding more routes?
Of course. We are. Last year we've added 22 new destinations. This year, of course, we are adding less because we are bringing back all of the routes that we had before, plus the 20 plus that we've added last year. This year, for example, this summer, we've already launched 2 more destinations that are new to us, Izmir and Pisa in Italy. Along with all of the summer routes that were very successful last summer, like, for example, Bedroom and all of these exciting places that we go to. So more routes, but we are also bringing back our capacity like the GCC, Saudi Arabia. We are now back to more than 8 or 7 destinations in Saudi Arabia that we did not have last summer, for example. So for us, the summer looks extremely exciting, and the rest of the year will even be better.
And are you seeing any particular geographies or markets that are doing better, where demand is stronger? Because there are some parts in Asia where we are still seeing lockdowns, for example, China, some parts of Southeast Asia where there have been challenges. But in terms of the pent-up demand you were referring to, or the revenge travel, as people keep talking about now, are you seeing this more in some parts of the world compared to others?
No, I think it's across the board. And fortunately for us, we don't go as far as China, and that part of the world interests us in a way because of our relationship with Emirates, because we coach here, and that business is also doing very well. And before I forget, I have also to state the incredible job the country have done in hosting and managing Expo 2020. This would be the best event that the United Arab Emirates has ever done, and its accumulatively effect of that for the years to come will be huge, because during that time when nobody could have done what has been done in Dubai, the whole world came, almost 11, 15 million of them came to see the
More than 20
the
million,
expo. They can witness on themselves what we are capable of doing. Nobody could have done that, and I say that with pride, and that's what will give us a lot of ammunition to promote the country in the future, and it made a big difference also to us.
Now you're operating a low-cost, low-budget airline. I mean, this region is usually dominated by the legacy full-fledged carriers, whether it's the Emirates, Qatar Airways, Saudia. How challenging, or what are the challenges really when you're operating a low budget airline in this part of the world? Are there challenges, or you think that opens up new opportunities?
Well, first of all, and we are a low-cost airline in the sense that cost is very important to us. But you know, we have evolved the product in Dubai, in Flydubai, to fit the market that we have here in Dubai, whereby we are offering services like television, but on demand. You have to pay for it. We have business class because there is demand for business. If you are coming and doing business in Dubai, there is always demand for that. So we are different than what you call so-called low cost that exists in Europe. The reason we had to do that, because actually a low cost, as the world understands it, in the rest of the world, very difficult to exist here. And I'll tell you the reason, because in Europe and America, you have one market, and it is open market. So you can operate in any of city or combinations of city in Europe and in America because it's open. Here, traffic rights is our biggest problem because you cannot go everywhere you want to go. And two, the consumer in Europe is, if you draw a picture, they all look the same, or one picture fits all. Here, our consumers are diversified, they are different. So the product that you will design as a low cost will not fit everybody. And that's why I think the low cost, as you see it in Europe and America, very difficult to work here, especially for the fact that skies are not as open.
So where did you see, as Flydubai, where did you see the opportunity, given what you explained just now, the challenges?
Well,
what was in the market that you were able to tap, which helped you?
Again, Dubai. And that's why, you know, we looked, I mean, if you look at our map, we go to all of these places that nobody, or a flight, where maybe 70% or 70 routes that we operate to, we are the first to operate to. They did not exist before Flydubai to and from Dubai. So we tapped into that market geographically, where nobody used to fly, but we are flying. I just mentioned two routes that we are launching, Azmir and Pisa. Nobody was flying direct to Dubai from there. So we looked at these niches, whereas there is demand to from Dubai, that we can create to fit the requirement of the passenger in both ends. And that's where we've been successful. We did not just go and say, I want to go to Cairo. We actually don't even fly to Cairo because we could not have the traffic rights. But we went somewhere where nobody is flying, and we created the demand, as rightly so, because Dubai is so attractive. Anywhere you go, you will have somebody who wants to come to Dubai.
So that, you think, going ahead is the opportunity, looking at those routes where you don't have other carriers flying, probably because they didn't expect so much demand on those routes.
Yeah.
And that's where Flydubai would like to focus, routes which are untapped.
Yeah, and we are. And then, of course, over the last few years, of course, now we are code-sharing with Emirates. That has been the sort of we capture demand between a big network of Emirates and a unique network of Flydubai that gave us a competitive advantage better than anybody else. Your other competitors cannot take people from New York all the way to Nepal. We can.
I want to talk a little bit, I mean, we have 5 minutes, so just want to touch upon two more things. I was talking to Sir Tim Clark 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had interviewed him for the BBC, and I was talking to him about demand is coming back, but then we saw that oil prices went up, and because of that, airfares went up as well. Do you see this as a deterrent, maybe a few months down the line, that passengers or travelers would start looking at high ticket prices and think, should I travel? It's too expensive to pay.
For
or
sure.
you think the pent-up demand is so much that for now it can take care of
The
that?
pent-up demand can only take us to certain level, to certain period, a month, 2, 3, maybe the summer, maybe the end of the year. But if the price of oil continue to be this big, this high, definitely it will affect demand. This is natural. I mean, because we are also very fortunate now that the yield is holding, because this significant improvement that we have in performance with a price of oil at $120, come on. If you told me that 5-6 years ago, no way. But this is short term. If the price does not come down, it will affect demand.
And how do airlines prepare themselves for a situation like this? You just had COVID, which was the worst thing that could have happened for the industry. And now you have certainly high oil prices, which are at a 15-year or 14-year high. What can airlines do really?
Well, I think airline has to be a little bit more responsible, a little bit more mature, because sometimes, you know, I mean, if there is one thing that I would like to sort of influence, being in this business for such a long time, people dump prices without looking at profitability. Mm-hmm. And then they think, I'm smarter than him. I will dump the price because before him. In the end of the day, nobody's smart. You have to be very, very sort of balanced in taking decision. If you cannot make it, reduce the capacity. And I think people have to be a little bit more responsible than that. That's my advice. Is that possible? No.
And that is something that you have been focusing on as well?
No, we try to, but unfortunately sometimes, you know, it's very difficult. So yes, all this excitement that we see right now, if nothing changes as far as the fuel price, 6 months, whatever from now, it will hit us very hard.
And the other challenge that has happened for the global economy right now is inflation. You know, cost of living is going up. So it's coincided with high oil prices, consumers are looking...
That will even make things worse.
So that remains a big concern.
Absolutely. I mean, it is unfortunate, and that the inflation, if it's not under control, will affect consumer behavior.
To sum up this conversation we had, now I want to talk also one thing about your business class, which as a product you're introducing. How's that going to pan out? You're an airline that has built a reputation so far for, you know, a budget airline. You pay less, you fly. How are you going to really marry these two products as you launch?
No, actually, to be honest with you, it has been a big success for us, and especially, as I said, when we looked at business class, it was always that, you know, we are going to all of these places that are of high demand to Dubai. In terms of the diversity of the people. They are business people, they are wealthy people that want to travel in business class, and that's why, you know, we started with business class and we saw that there is actually demand, and it was very successful. Thank God for that, because when we also worked with Emirates, that gave us enough to also command the demand for connecting business to go on to Emirates. So there is not a big gulf of difference between us. Still there is a difference, but less than without the business class. And
and one thing people kept talking about during COVID was that business travel is over. Do you think it's over?
Look, as I said, now we are living this pinned up demand, as you said, crazy demand. I personally don't think so. I think, you know, we people, look at this wonderful people who are sitting here. How could we have this on Zoom? I would not have the same sort of connection and talk to people if it was like that. We are now more connected, and business can be done only if you are face to face visiting people. And I personally not somebody who think that this will affect business, but you never know.
My last question. Where do you see Flydubai in the next 5 years? You've grown to a certain scale. Where do you see this going from here?
I think we continue to grow. Again, I stress back the importance of Dubai, and I think the United Arab Emirates and Dubai, the way we have managed the pandemic, the expo reaction, I think this place will continue to grow and will continue to be the hub that will pull a lot of business. And the other thing that I have to also touch upon is the excitement of the development of the region. I mean, okay, we have to pick one. Saudi Arabia. When Saudi Arabia is developing and opening up its economy for tourism and business the way they are doing, this will, so rather than have one Dubai, can you imagine if we have 5, 6 Dubai in the region? It will be huge for business, and that's why the future for us can only be better and more of the same.
So you think this Saudi Arabia opening up is good for the region as well?
Absolutely. It's a huge opportunity for all of us.
I completely, we've run out of time, would have loved to go on with this conversation, but thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights. And thanks a lot for coming for this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.